All right, let's get right into it today. We're going to be taking a deep dive into small modular reactors,
SMRs, yeah.
SMRs. These things are, they're making some serious waves in the energy world.
Lots of buzz.
Lots of buzz. Everyone's looking for the future of energy, and SMRs are, well, they're kind of promising this whole new era of clean energy, efficient energy.
It seems like everybody's interested, right? Governments, even these big tech companies like Amazon and Google, everybody's sniffing around.
Yeah, and, we're talking potential game changer here, folks. Like, how we power our world could be totally different because of these things.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. SMRs, they're completely different from those massive nuclear power plants that we're used to, those giant domes.
Right. Those things are huge.
Enormous. SMRs, on the other hand, they're designed to be manufactured in factories, built in pieces, shipped out, and then they're assembled on site.
Oh, wow. So it's almost like putting together like high-tech Legos or something.
That's a great analogy. It is a lot like high-tech Legos.
So all this sounds pretty cool, but why is everyone suddenly so interested in SMRs?
Well, the world needs more and more energy, and we need it to be clean.
Yeah.
SMRs, at least on paper, they seem to be the answer, at least for now.
Yeah.
That's why you have over 25 countries that are really digging into this technology, and billions of dollars are being thrown into researching it, developing it.
Okay, so let's break it down a little bit. What exactly is an SMR? And, we've talked about the big nuclear plants. How is it different from those?
All right, so imagine like your average nuclear reactor. It's cranking out about a gigawatt of electricity, which is enough to power a decent-sized city.
Okay.
An SMR, it's a bit more bite-sized. They generate, let's say, between 100 to 300 megawatts.
Okay, I see. So smaller, much smaller, but still, like you were saying, a megawatt, that can still power a lot.
Oh, yeah, a megawatt can power, I don't know, maybe hundreds of homes.
Right, right. Okay, so we're talking about smaller scale, but let's go back to those tech giants for a second.
Yeah.
What are Amazon and Google doing in the nuclear energy business?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, isn't it? They're looking at SMRs as a way to power their massive data centers, and those things eat up energy like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
The idea is that if they have a dedicated SMR right there at the data center, boom, instant clean energy, cuts down on their reliance on the regular power grid. And of course, it makes them look good, sustainability and all that.
Yeah, it's a good look. Okay, so it all sounds really impressive on the surface, but I know there's been some talk about like some serious roadblocks with SMRs. What are the problems?
Yeah, you're right. There have been some hiccups. On paper, SMRs are supposed to be quick and cheap to get up and running, but a lot of projects have hit some pretty big snags.
Snags like?
Delays, costs going way over budget. For example, there's this company, NuScale. They're a big player in the SMR game based in the US. Their initial cost estimate was something like $3 billion, right? Well, guess what? That number's ballooned to over $9 billion.
Wow. Okay, so a threefold increase. What's causing these price hikes? Is this just like normal growing pains for new technology, or is there something else going on here?
It's a bunch of things all mixed together, Part of it is just the nature of nuclear tech. It's complicated, it's demanding. You're not just building a wind farm here.
Right.
There are all these super strict safety regulations you got to follow, licensing and all that. And honestly, the nuclear industry, it hasn't kept up with some of the other energy sectors when it comes to like rapid technological advancements.
So, okay, so we've got red tape, we've got a lack of innovation. Are there any other issues that are kind of contributing to all this?
Well, and it's not just a U.S. problem either. Oh, yeah. You see similar issues popping up with SMR projects in Russia, China, Argentina, and then you have good old inflation and the cost of labor going up everywhere, which affects any construction project, really.
Right, of course. So, bottom line, we're talking about projects that could take over a decade to finish. That's what, like, way longer than it takes to build a traditional nuclear plant, right?
Yeah, you're looking at potentially several times longer. Traditional plants, even though they're huge and complex, there's a well-established process for building them. But SMRs, they're new, they're different. There's a learning curve.
It sounds like SMRs are facing a pretty tough uphill battle. So, does this mean that this whole dream of like mini nuclear reactors, is it starting to fade away?
I wouldn't write them off just yet. There's still a lot of potential there.
Okay, so there's hope.
Yeah, the thinking is that once we get past these initial hurdles, like the high research and development costs, and once the manufacturing process gets smoother and more efficient, SMRs could actually become cheaper than they are now.
So the hope is that as this technology matures and gets more refined, the cost will start to come down.
Exactly. And don't forget, more and more companies are jumping into the SMR game, so there's more competition, which is usually a good thing. It pushes everyone to innovate, come up with better designs, and ultimately drive those costs down.
Okay, so for those of you listening at home, where does that leave us? It seems like SMR tech is still in its early days, and yeah, it's got some serious challenges to overcome.
Definitely.
But it's a story that's still unfolding, right?
Absolutely. The big question now is, will SMRs live up to the hype? Will they actually be a major player in the clean energy future, or will they just become another, example of a promising technology that just kind of couldn't quite get there?
Hmm. Interesting. So lots to think about, and it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds.
Only time will tell.
All right, well, that about wraps it up for our deep dive on SMRs.
Yeah, fascinating stuff.
Super interesting. And for those of you listening, stick around. In a future deep dive, we're going to be exploring the safety and ethical considerations of SMRs. So that should be a good one.
Can't wait.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We'll catch you next time.
See ya.